up there, oh, I have a bold plan to do this and change this tax code and do this thing. They can't, you got to pass it. What the great thing about our plan is, it will pass for two reasons. Number one, the folks that you need to get bipartisan support happen to come from states like Pennsylvania and Ohio and Michigan and Indiana and Wisconsin. Democrats, blue collar, who represent blue collar districts. And if you focus a plan on manufacturing, you will get their votes. I spoke to the New Hampshire House of Representatives the other day, and I talked about my manufacturing plan. I spoke to Democrats and Republicans. It was the entire House. And after I finished, two Democrats came over to my co-chairman, who happens to be a House member there, and said, can he come to my district and talk to my people about it, because I'm for this plan. We'll get the kind of support this does. You want to bring America together? Put forth conservative ideas that include everybody, that have a message of inclusion, to say we can do this. And we're going to lower rates and limit government to create the opportunity for everybody in America. Well, one big thing is cutting regulations. A president doesn't have to pass anything. I can repeal every single regulation if I want to. Now, of course, some of them you have to replace. But a lot of the ones that the Obama administration put in place that are crushing manufacturers and businesses, we can get rid of overnight. You do that. You do the tax cuts, you repeal the regulations and replace them with business-friendly regulations. You take all that money that corporations made by building things overseas and then shipping them back to this country, $1.5 trillion in profit sitting in banks, that if you try to bring it back, it's taxed at a 35% rate. Under my plan, if you bring that money back and invest it in plant and equipment, you pay no taxes. It creates $1.5 trillion in capital. And then four, energy. I agree with a lot of folks that Governor Perry has a great energy plan. It's very similar. It's let's explore, let's go and drill in Alaska, and let's drill in Pennsylvania and in North Dakota and offshore. Let's drill where the oil and gas is. We can do it safer and cleaner than anybody else in the world. We should be able to mine coal. You can't get a permit to mine coal in America today. We're going to shut down 60 coal-fired power plants as a result of the Obama administration, their permitting process and their regulatory process. We will re-energize the energy industry. It will create jobs in and of itself, but it will keep electric prices, gas prices, gasoline prices lower. I'll give you an example. How many people here from Pennsylvania? I know we've got half the people here, right? I always say, you know, I was reforming Social Security. I was going out there and fighting for Social Security reform. And people would say, well, you know, how do you do that? You're in the second oldest state in the country with as far as percentage of seniors. I said, yeah. I said, it's even harder than you think. I said, the oldest state per capita is Florida. And all my rich seniors moved to Florida. And so what's left in Pennsylvania, the folks that really rely on Social Security. Anyway, so you know, you talk about energy. Pennsylvania. We found that in Pennsylvania is the second largest natural gas field in the world. And within the last 8 years, gas prices, natural gas prices, went from $12 to $3.70. Barack Obama says, drill baby drill, and he pokes fun at Sarah Palin and others who said that. It works, folks. It works. If you create more supply, guess what happens? Prices go down. You do those four things, we'll turn around this economy and get manufacturing back. But if we don't do the basics, what Sid was talking about, if we don't have a president that goes out and talks about how we can rebuild the American family, how we can rebuild a culture that's a good one, that's one that nurtures our children, that teaches them right from wrong, teaches them the value of hard work, and that they're not entitled to whatever just because they happen to be in America. They're entitled to one thing, well, two things: freedom and opportunity. That's it. My father came to this country with my grandfather. When he came in 1930 as a legal immigrant, he was entitled to no government benefits. You know why? There weren't any for anybody. But he came anyway, just like your ancestors did. Why? Because they wanted to be free and they wanted the opportunity that America had. That's enough, folks. That's enough. We need to teach our children that. I mean, we focus so much on the illegal and legal immigrants. How about just our kids? And what they expect or what they think that the government owes them. We have a lot of work to do in this country. And we need some real foundational change. We need to do it in the education system. We also need to do it in the family. We have to have policies in America that are friendly to families, because you know what, if we don't start valuing marriage, start talking about the importance of fatherhood and marriage, we've done some real damage to the family in this country. And it's done real damage to us as a society. And it's done real damage to those who believe in limited government. Think of the fact that for a family where there are 2 parents in the home, the poverty rate in America today is under 8%. In a family where there is only 1 parent in the home, the poverty rate is now approaching 40%. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot have limited government if families continue to break down. Because who fills the gap that the dad primarily has left? It's all of us. It's the government. And it's destroying families. It's destroying limited government. It's destroying freedom. We better have someone who can go out and talk that message, because you know that's not a Republican or Democratic message, folks. You can give that message. All the liberals now have agreed, you know what, we have a marriage crisis in this country. We have a crisis of families. And if we don't start dealing with these issues, elevating marriage, promoting it. In my book, I wrote a book in response to Hillary Clinton's book. Remember Hillary Clinton's book? It Takes a Village. You may not know that about 4 years later I wrote a book in response to that called It Takes a Family. And I put a 420-page book, yes. I talked about how we have to reclaim the family. We have to reclaim the institutions upon which our country was built. Faith and family. And it's not a right-wing conservative Christian. No, this is the civic religion of our country. Our founders understood this. That we could not be free unless we were good, decent, and moral people raising children in stable families. So that's the message. It's a message that's inclusive. It's a message that says that yes, we can pull things together. We can let people rise. We can get this economy going, and we can rebuild a better future for our country.